What's up guys, CG here, and welcome back to another all-new Star Trek Discovery recap and review, this time for Episode 9, our fall finale titled Into the Forest I Go. After the events of last week, the Discovery is barreling towards a showdown with the Klingon Ship of the Dead. Will they survive? For more, let's jump into a quick recap. The episode opens with a surprise. Lorca is actually ordered by Starfleet to stand down and jump back to safety. He initially complies with this, warping back the old-fashioned way, but quickly reveals that's to give the Federation's scienciest science vessel the chance to crack Klingon cloaking. As far-fetched as that might sound, they actually do manage to come up with a workaround, but it requires them to place sensors on the Ship of the Dead, which would report back the emissions from the ship's electromagnetic cloak and essentially allow them to map its, location. Who goes on this mission but Tyler and Burnham? However, things quickly go south as Tyler runs into Laurel, sending him into a PTSD-style flashback and rendering him catatonic. Luckily, Admiral Cromwell happens to be in the brig as well, but is paralyzed and uses her therapist training to eventually snap Tyler out of it. Meanwhile, Burnham continues the mission to place the sensors. Once complete, the second phase of the plan is set to kick in. The Discovery will conduct 133 micro-jumps around the vessel to almost create a 3D rendering of it, essentially nullifying its cloak. But their plan hits an unexpected speed bump. Cole knows it's a trap even if he doesn't know how and prepares to warp away. Stopping this, Burnham leaps from the shadows and essentially shames him into dueling her as she reveals she was Takuma's assassin. Somehow she manages to hold him off just long enough and the Discovery's solution works. The ship beams back Tyler, Cromwell, Laurel, and Burnham, firing on the Ship of the Dead and killing it and Cole once and for all. In the aftermath, Stamets is physically and mentally burnt out as it reveals the jumps were actually having severe physiological effects on him and his brain. The Discovery, though, are heroes of the Federation for it, and Stamets prepares for what he tells Lorca is his last jump ever, only for it to fail. After this, Stamets is in a bad way. He looks blind, but he can actually see all of the alternate dimensions we learn are connected to the mycelial network. But the Discovery might be even worse off. The failed jump lands them in uncharted territory, and maybe not even their home dimension. Honestly, this was a really solid episode, but one that kind of highlights the interesting conflict within this show. I mean, it's trying to be big and cinematic and maybe appeal to a wider audience, or does it try to return to the progressive sci-fi episodic roots of the franchise's past? Before I get into the negatives, I do want to start with some positives, and first and foremost, really, give a huge round of applause for Shazad Latif. The guy is without a doubt turning in the best performance of this series, and if the Vought theory turns out to be true, which is looking more and more likely, his performance is even better for that duality. Speaking of Tyler, the choice they made with his storyline in this episode, with him kind of having this PTSD with Laurel, is really interesting. It kind of seems that if Tyler is a Klingon, he doesn't know it, which makes his shell shock something of an ongoing mystery. This episode definitely returned to the big and cinematic nature of the show's first two episodes, with mixed results in my opinion. I mean, it was really exciting, very tense, but I do honestly prefer the show as a smaller scale episodic venture, something hopefully the post-break arc seems like it'll give us. But that return to big and cinematic left a lot of unevenness and predictability in this episode. I mean, while the events of the actual episode, like I said, were really interesting, really intense, some other things like Tyler's shell shock and Stamets' quote-unquote last jump ever failing felt a little predictable and a little stale. It was almost like, of course that's gonna happen. And the fact that they were actually able to crack the Klingon cloaking was kind of weird and anachronistic, given the fact that it was still an issue for the crew of the Enterprise D 200 years after the events of this show, but I'm sure something is going to gum up the works for that at some point before the season's over. If I had to guess, honestly, their solution seems more like a one-off thing. Like, really, only a ship with the Discovery's spore drive could have pulled that off, so I'm not sure why the 3D image of the Ship of the Dead created by microjumps could help with any other Klingon vessel. And as much as I've really actually liked the Klingon War arc, I feel like it's going to do the show some good to get away from it, and hopefully their journey home from wherever the hell they find themselves takes more than one episode. Overall, I'll give Discovery's mid-season finale a 6 out of 10. Not their best episode in my opinion, but an entertaining one that leaves us with more questions than answers, and a much-needed break from the Klingon War. Let me know what you thought of the episode in the comment section down below, but that's going to do it for me here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash that like if you like what you saw, subscribe for more great content every single day, and consider turning on your notifications to be alerted every time we upload a new video. For more content, check out our website at hybridnetworkyt.com, and if you love HN and want to take your support to the next level, consider donating to us on Patreon as we strive to bring you the best content possible. Signing off, this is CJ.